This is the Bat Pod.
The Bat Pod presents Gotham Currents, a podcast about current releases of Batman comics.
Welcome to this episode of Gotham Currents. My name is Bill Beer, and joining me tonight, John Coos.
The one and only. How are you doing, Bill?
Good, I'm doing pretty good. We're getting ready to wrap up this absolute power thing that we decided to do. How many books was that? You were keeping track of how many books, like 50-some books or something like that?
You just threw me a curveball. I think it's about 40, 39 or 40.
39 or 40. Have you ever read an entire crossover like this before? Every book.
Real time?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I don't think I have. You know, all the side books and that sort of thing.
Maybe in New 52, that villains thing.
Oh, yeah. I think maybe that.
Maybe that one. But other than that, it's always been in like omnibuses and stuff where I've read the whole thing sequentially. Never real time as they're coming out.
Yeah.
Like, well, except for that one time, maybe. But I might have skipped a couple though. I mean, I might have saw a cover or something because I was buying floppies then, and I might have but definitely this might be a first. This might be a first.
Yes, I agree. First for me here. So, but it's been a lot of fun. So tonight we're gonna cover, as we end this thing, we're gonna cover Absolute Power Origins number 4. Absolute Power, Task Force 7, number 7, Green Arrow, number 16, and Absolute Power, number 4. If you'd like to join the conversation or emails the podcast at thebatpod.com, we are on Twitter /X at thebat_pod, and we do have a Facebook page. So let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to head to Absolute Power Origins number 3.
The Bat Pod is a spoiler podcast. Please read the comics we're reviewing so you can enjoy the show.
Siskoid watches a lot of movies. Like, a lot. So now he has his own movie podcast. Or several. Siskoid Cinema is your one-stop umbrella for a variety of shows like Fade In, exploring the first films of famous actors and directors.
This is a joke, right?
On Borrowed Time, discussing all your favorite time travel movies.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
And No Escape from Kurt Russell, a dissection of the man, the mystique, and the movies.
There goes a perfectly good bumper sticker.
And more. Siskoid Cinema, a proud member of the Fire and Water Podcast Network.
All right. Yeah, we're down. Bleh. We are in the home stretch, literally. Like we see the finish line. And we're going to start tonight with Absolute Power Origins number 3, titled Lockup. Writer John Ridley, penciler Alitha Martinez, inker Norm Ratmund, and intern Bill Beer. So they got the cover here. We have Brainiac Queen in a place like Times Square with skyscrapers and a giant video screens. It says Waller's Endgame. On most of the screens, we get a Big Brother kind of Amanda Waller looking into the camera and pointing at us. And then on one of the screens, we get the sort of defeated and down and dejected Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. What did you think of this cover, Bill?
I thought it was all right.
Okay,
there was I mean, it's serviceable. Is that the term, serviceable?
That's a good term for it. Yeah, sure,
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And so I'll go right into the story. So where we left off in Origins number 2, it's sort of a historical account of her first Suicide Squad, which was a hodgepodge of characters like Lobo, Emerald Empress, and Johnny Sorrow. We were hoping to discover more clarity on exactly why Amanda hates superheroes so much, and we were left wanting. It ended with Amanda creating a Suicide 2.0 that we're more familiar with, the likes of Rick Flag, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot, among others. This issue starts off with a flashback of Batman infiltrating Belle Rev, basically to show Amanda he's onto her and her little Suicide Squad. We turn to a now familiar scene in this book where Amanda's interfacing with one of her children, this time with her remaining daughter, who is now pregnant. Amanda explains why she's so distant because she's protecting democracy and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. In the eyes of her children, Amanda is cementing her bona fides as the worst mother of the year, a constant theme in this book. Her daughter plays a recorded conversation Amanda had with the President of the United States from previous issues where she's telling him nothing will stop her in her quest to protect democracy, even if that means lying to her children about quitting smoking. They don't explain how her daughter, a regular person, is tapping the phone of the big bad Amanda Waller, who you'd think would be swimming in security protocols, but nonetheless, that's the scene. Then we have this protracted scene of Flag and Amanda arguing about what they're doing, how Batman got into Belle Rev. Then they realize that he was probably the prisoner on exchange named Matches Malone, a known Batman's alter ego. And then she has this great idea of fingerprinting all of Gotham City to find out who Batman is. Then we go to a scene at a hospital where Amanda's phone tapping daughter has had her baby. She has a confrontation with one of her sons, more about how she's a terrible mother. We've gotten the point by now, and how grandma won't be able to see the baby. Then she leaves the hospital, but one of her other sons comes out to give her a pep talk. And with a bit of foreshadowing, he tells her that if she goes too far in her mission against the superheroes, she will be the one who ends up as seeing as the bad guy. It ends with Amanda sitting alone on a bench outside the hospital. She sees a shooting star or something in the sky and basically wishes upon it for the power and strength to carry on and to possess the power she needs to prevail on her quest of undermining all the heroes. The end. All right, Bill. I got some comments. What are your thoughts?
My overall thoughts of this entire series is I was expecting a lot more. I understand it was a story on her origin. I think what I expected here was to get some motivation about why she hates heroes so much. We get a little bit with Batman here, interrupting their little, whatever you want to call it, the first, Rick Flag run Suicide Squad here, and he infiltrated by being Matches Malone, but I still don't get the motivation to go all bat crap crazy on the superheroes by, as we said, Trigon. What happened to Trigon? What happened with that story? Where did that go? Trigon didn't want anything to do with that. And, the Mazos and all this stuff, her motivation for all this is her husband who tried to be a vigilante and got himself killed. That's where this all comes from. And I don't know if 100% buy it, if that's how that was the pitch for this series. It's a little weak to me. It's a little weak.
Yeah. I don't have much to add to that. We've talked about it throughout covering this particular book, that we hope there's a big reveal. We hope there's a flashback of some kind that explains it, because in issue 1, the daughter gets killed by the pimp/drug dealer. We don't know why. We don't know why she was hanging out with him. Then her husband, as you said, tries to take on that dude. They get mutually shot at the same time. So anyway, none of that has to do with any intervention by a vigilante hero like a Batman type. None of it. None of it has anything to do with the superheroes. Now, you point out something, maybe, she's on this mission to save the world of some for other reasons, and then she gets mad at Batman because he so easily got into her business. But that doesn't fly either. So I mean, all this book really did was, in some ways, make Amanda, who I don't think was previously depicted as a horrible person in her personal life. If there's a Suicide Squad fan out there that can tell me there's other times where they depict Amanda as being a terrible mother and just a terrible human being generally, I'd love to hear it. But this book's a mess in a lot of ways, and we're going to have to just put it out of our memories. Maybe suggest to people, don't read this book.
I mean, yeah. Can you recommend this book to anybody? Can you say, hey, I'm not saying it. I think the expectation for this book was a lot higher than what we got. We just got an average story. We didn't get anything that, this was somewhat a character assassination of
Amanda Waller.
For Amanda Waller fans. Are there Amanda Waller fans?
I kind of am, but I'm less so now. There's been different iterations. There's, she's sort of the more stocky version of Amanda Waller. I liked that version all those years. And New 52 kind of created sort of this very fit version of Amanda Waller. I kind of liked her too. I like Amanda Waller less now because of this. I mean, she is terrible. She's a terrible human. She's a terrible mother. I don't know, man. But yeah, so if I were to recommend this series to somebody in the future, there's certain books, of course, that would be like, okay, you got to read Green Lantern. You got to read Green Arrow. You probably need to read Task Force 7. But you don't need to read this. You probably don't need to read the Super Sun one. But definitely not this one. This actually brings down the omnibus. So anyway, we can move on. We've crapped on this book a lot, but hey, we will strive forward. And now you are going to cover the last issue of Task Force 7.
Yes. So my issue is Task Force 7, number 7. Which is, how many times do you get a 7-issue mini? That's kind of a odd number. I think they maybe just, hey, let's pile on one more. It's selling pretty good. Or
I don't know if it was like that, but we can talk about that on the flip side.
So your writer is Dan Walters, artist Fran Gallen, letter Dave Sharp, and we get a cover here. It's your Task Force 7, Absolute Power. You get another Amazo here, the Global Guardian, and you have a picture there of some of the Global Guardians, I would assume. What did you think of this cover?
I mean, it follows the exact same convention of the previous 6, which is fine. There's Amazo. I think this looks like a Martian Manhunter version of Amazo.
It does.
And then you've got these characters in the foreground, which I probably didn't realize was the Global Guardians until I started reading the book, because I know some of the Global Guardians from the JLI era and all that, but I don't know these guys. These guys didn't scream Global Guardians to me, but nonetheless, I
think it's more of like some of the global heroes that are out there in the DC universe. Because the one guy is Ghostmaker, who showed up in Batman somewhere around 101 and went for like 10 to 15 issues. He was around. He was sort of friend / rival to Bruce Wayne as he was being trained in the beginning. And he's basically Bruce Wayne without empathy. It's kind of an interesting character, actually.
Well, is that guy in the center? Is he that Asian Superman family guy?
I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so.
Is he even in the book?
I don't know.
Well, the other guy kind of looks like a different, like a Mirror Master, and
he almost looks like that. Yes.
So anyway, we can just get into the book.
So The Global Guardian is sent to arrest superheroes outside the United States. He attacks the Eurocorps in Berlin, and the renegade new Global Guardian show up to help. The superpowers that Global Guardian has absorbed means that he's able to overpower them all. But suddenly, the failsafe reboots the Task Force 7, causing him to freeze and fall out of the sky mid-battle. Bellafor from the official United Nations-backed Global Guardian shows up to arrest the new Global Guardians as the two sides begin to argue. Suddenly, Intercorps boom tubes them all to their space station, says they must band together to stop Amanda Waller. Failsafe reactivates Task Force 7, and the Guardian bursts in and depowers the remaining metahumans. Meanwhile, on Gamora, Steve Trevor goes back into the prison to find anyone left behind and to evacuate everyone out. While he is attempting to help Frankenstein, they are caught by a squad of soldiers and pinned down by gunfire. Realizing he is unlikely to get out, he calls Wonder Woman to warn her that Waller has been recruiting villains from parallel universes into her army, and she plans to imprison every superhero in the multiverse as her issue ends. So we get the ending to Task Force X number 7. Introduction here to the Global Guardian. The Global Guardians are in here. The one thing I do have to say that was cool about reading this, I don't know any of these characters really. Jack-O-Lantern from JLI. I know he makes appearance, but a lot of these guys, I don't know who they are, but they actually say who they are with a brief description. But yeah, unless you're a huge Global Guardian fan, I mean, I don't know where this is leading into. Is this introduction into something we're getting later? If not, this is just like a one and done. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
I read it like they've got to be planning a book or a mini series sometime in the next year or so for them to go to the trouble of just throwing these characters at us sort of in a way that like is totally unconnected to this 35 issues we've been reading of this comic, of this series, to be honest with you. I recognize Jack-O-Lantern. I recognize Tasmanian Devil. He's in this, and I recognize that mermaid gal. I'm not familiar with a lot of these other characters. I mean, I think I've seen Wild Huntsman before, but it was a little strange. And then typical of the Task Force 7 books, there's this main story, and then there's like 3 or 4 maybe 2 or 3 pages of them going back to the events of Gamora Island with Steve Trevor's, movements and stuff, which was fine. But this, by the time you get to this book, knowing that we're like in the super home stretch, the events that's covered with Robin and Wonder Woman, who've been this team to infiltrate the prison and release the heroes, the events that occur kind of have already kind of occurred.
Yes, it's like in parallel.
Yeah, so in some ways I felt like, you mentioned at the beginning, it's kind of weird to have the book called Task Force 7 and then have 7 issues. Maybe they kind of realized that. They just go, well, let's make 7, introduce the Global Guardians into this sort of Dawn of DC continuity, or this new all-in continuity that's emerging, and just sell another book. I guess. I don't know. This book didn't move the story along at all. Unfortunately, I'm just being a little harsh, but it
didn't feel that way. Just to give you, for those that are interested in seeing if this continues or whatever, the Global Guardians' first appearance was in Super Friends number 7, and it went through issue 9, and they had a couple of those here is Black Vulcan, Samurai, Apache Chief, El Dorado.
Yeah.
And then they did have a DC Comics Presents issue. I believe that was number 40. Is that correct? Something like that.
I'm going to trust you on that.
Okay, I read it. I went and read it just to see.
since we don't have much to say about the book, I'll editorialize further. Out of that Super Friends series from the 70s, we also get the first appearances of Green Flame, which becomes Fire. And
all right, they're the two most famous ones from the Global Guardians.
Yeah, the original Ice Maiden, which I think there's a second, but yeah. So anyway, I if they come out with a good Global Guardians book, of course I'll read it, give it a shot. I have fond memories of their appearances from the Justice League International. So,
and I kind of liked, the villainous spin they had on the leftover Guardians, in the jail. I kind of like that a lot. So I do have some fond memories of that. So.
Jack-o'-lantern being a bad guy.
Yeah.
Dealing with, I don't know if it was Queen Bee or somebody like a Queen Bee. Yeah. Anyway, all right, cool. So we'll move on to an essential book in this series that we've been, praising. It's Green Arrow 16. Oh, the title of it is Old Friends. Writer Joshua Williamson. Woo! Artist Amanake Nanpool and Sean Izakse. The cover, we've got a giant image of Bright. He's one of Waller's super bad guys, shot up with arrows, and a distressed Green Arrow family in the foreground. What do you think of this cover?
Oh, I enjoyed this cover. I like to see the reflection. There's some good artwork there. So I like this. Once we get in here, Bright is not a character I'm familiar with, but we should sort of get a flashback there that I'll let you explain that as we go.
Oh, okay. Well, the cover also is unique in some ways. You don't usually see, well, sometimes you do, but I like it when you see. There was a cliffhanger in the previous issue, which we'll get into, and then the cover of this issue is sort of a continuation of that cliffhanger, which I kind of like. So where we last left off, the Green Arrow family was atop one of that Amanda Waller troop transport, and this guy Bright is about to kill either Cheshire or Leon Harper, and then Green Arrow shows up with a jetpack and telling Bright to unhand his family, and then but the issue opens up though on Gamora in Amanda's control room. She's sort of licking her wounds with recent defeats by the superhero resistance. Then we turn back to the action on top of the plane with Bright, Green Arrow, and the Arrow family. And a cool battle kind of commences for probably 3 or 4 pages, maybe 5 pages. I'm not going to go into super detail here, but you can imagine arrows flying, blah, 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 blah. And then kind of concludes with Bright getting kind of deactivated, or at least his controls are haywire, and he falls from the sky, but we don't sort of see his fate, but he's defeated. Then the Green Arrow family flies in that transport plane to the Hall of Order, and just when we think Green Arrow is a good guy, he has Waller's soldiers arrest them all. And then we have this short scene with Green Arrow and Anthony Ivo talking about the Amazos, and Ivo tells him that they are as powerful as the Justice League, but they have no weaknesses. I mean, we kind of knew that already. Mm-hmm. Then we cut to a scene where Green Arrow is in possession of that box he dug up in the forest that Martian Manhunter entrusted with him in the past. And that box could take down the Justice League. He also has got Kronos' hourglass with him. He starts welding something, and then Zatanna, Dr. Light, and his girlfriend, Black Canary, show up through those dark roads we've been talking about. Zatanna leads them to Green Arrow, and we have a big confrontation with Green Arrow and Oliver Queen, and he tells her what he's doing he has to do, and it's for the Green Arrow family. Then Dinah tells him that heroes are about to storm the facility, and then he says, I really wish you hadn't told me that. Now I need to go tell Waller. And then she says, goodbye, Ollie. I hope the next time we see each other, it's on the same side. I love you. And then then she leaves with Zatanna, or disappears kind of with Zatanna and Dr. Light before and after she kind of disappears. He sort of mutters, "I love you too." And then Oliver appears to be working on something, wire cutters and all, and it ends with Oliver and Amanda chatting. He says, "It's time you and I had a little chat about our deal." And she says, "It'll have to wait, Queen. The war is coming to us." And then we sort of see monitor screens with, I guess, the good guys, coming to attack. The end. So, what'd you think?
I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. This whole arc, with Green Arrow. At this point, when I read this, I read all these in a chunk.
Yeah.
These last 4. So we'll get into what happens on Absolute Power. But you're like scratching your head a little bit just because Green Arrow, you don't know what his motivations are. But I think it sort of pays off a little bit. You can say whether you like it or not when we get to that issue. But I like the Green Arrow family. I hope this sticks around, the family and that sort of thing. I did think it was a very cool scene with him and his son standing there, and he's like,
"Oh yeah,
my son is the greatest fighter the world has ever seen, and he doesn't need his eyes to kick your ASS."
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it'd be kind of fun if maybe we could have a Bat family, Arrow family war. I'm not sure who outnumbers who on that whole thing, because these families are getting huge.
Whoa! Who outnumbers? Who has more? Who would kick the other one's butts? You're on a Batman podcast, remember?
Batman would always. He would always. Well,
there we
I don't
go.
have to be on a Batman podcast to tell you Batman would always win.
Okay.
But no, I love it too. I love this issue. The couple question marks. We'll get to them. I think we could park it here because I think some of the things I observed in this issue are quickly resolved, or made fuller in the final issue of Absolute Power, which you are going to cover. So we can park. I think we can park some of this stuff, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
They literally are continued from Green Arrow. This there's no question about continuity and timeline.
No. It goes right into Absolute Power 4. I did really like the conversation with Black Canary. They're written very well.
Yeah, and drawn well too.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing he says, you're scary when you get quiet.
There's some really good banter between the two of those two, and she's very confused.
Yes, as they are. As they all are. So
yeah, but it's all revealed shortly.
So let's head into Absolute Power number 4.
Mm-hmm.
So our last book, the finale, Absolute Power number 4, writer Mark Waid, art Dan Mora, colors Alejandro Sanchez, letters Adriana Mayer, associate editor Matthew Levine, and editor Paul Comiskey. And we get a cover here, and we have Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Airwave. Is that who that is on the cover? I believe so.
I think that's Flash in his motorcycle outfit.
Oh, that might be. Yeah, you're right about that. It's Flash in his little motorcycle outfit. And they all get hit with electricity, which you can only assume, we haven't spoiled it yet, but you can only assume that they're getting their powers back. So what did you think of this cover?
It's okay for me.
A lot of white in it. There's a lot of white. Yeah.
A lot of white. I thought the previous 3 Absolute Power covers really grabbed me. This doesn't tell me conclusion like this. Like, not that a cover should spoil, but everybody knows it's the last issue. And it almost looks like an issue cover that would be in the middle of an arc where they're still, being defeated all the time. But it's not bad. It's well drawn. Is that Airwave way in the back, or is that Batman with the little teeny ears?
That looks like Batman.
Yeah, so Batman should be right front and center.
Yeah, he's like, you can only see part of his body, so.
Anyway, yeah, it's all right.
So in this issue, continued directly from Green Arrow number 16, and I said Green Arrow this time, not Green Lantern. Oliver Queen orders all the Bureau of Sovereignty's forces to regroup at Gamora Island, expecting a full assault from the heroes. He runs down their tactical situation for Waller, detailing all their recent defeats. But when he mentions what happened to Brainiac Queen, she actually strikes him across the face and yells at him to shut up about her. Despite their setbacks, she expects to be able to hold off the heroes with their soldiers armed with seized weapons and Task Force 7. And Failsafe, activating the multiversal gate to be their ace in the hole. In the Dark Roads, the heroes discuss their final plans, led by Nightwing, how Jordan goes on alone to deal with a multiversal gate, helping the Flash, while the rest of them gather for a full frontal assault. Batman boom tubes them to Gamora as they hit the front line. Sarge Steel gloats that the heroes are hopelessly outgunned, but when the soldiers try to fire their weapons, they backfire and shock them. Waller furiously demands to know what happened, then she notices that Green Arrow has disappeared. In the basement of the Metahuman Detention Center, Barry Allen tries to fight off 3 evil speedsters from the multiverse. Nightwing and John Kent head to Waller's location. In the basement, villains from across the multiverse start coming through the portal, but Green Lantern swoops in and creates a barrier to hold them back. Barry tries to deactivate the portal, but struggles to do so as he doesn't recognize the technology. Green Lantern's barrier begins to crack, and he calls for reinforcements to help. On the surface, the hero overcome the soldiers, with Wonder Woman personally punching out Steel. They blast their way into the facility with a bazooka, but Task Force 7 orders the heroes to surrender. John and Nightwing break into Waller's command center, but she brings out a chunk of kryptonite to neutralize John. Batman, Blue Beetle, and Time Commander sneak into the electronics lab in the detention center. They find the device Green Arrow had possession of, and the Time Commander completes it. With it, they will be able to remove Task Force 7's chrono healing ability and reverse their time just before they stole the hero's powers, thus releasing the energy that will restore their powers. The Flash family run in and join their willpower with Green Lanterns, reinforcing the barrier at the portal. In the control room, Failsafe restrains Nightwing, and Waller says that she is going to kill all the superheroes. As a fight ensues, Batman drops temporal device. Green Arrow picks it up, loads it onto his arrow, and fires it at Paradise Lost. This creates a chain reaction that returns the stolen powers to the hero, with varying results. Waller sees this and has a nervous breakdown, screaming, "No, no, no," over and over again. Failsafe is powered down, and Nightwing says it's over. Waller pulls out a gun, planning to kill Nightwing and escape through the multiversal gate. However, Dreamer jumps out of the portal, punches Waller, revealing that she hid in John's dreams after the explosion at the Fortress of Solitude. The repowered heroes easily destroy Task Force 7, and Oliver Queen reveals that he was working deep cover inside the Bureau of Sovereignty. Martian Manhunter planted a sincere belief in Waller's calls inside of his mind to fool the Bureau's psychics, and it had just recently expired as they had originally planned. Batman is annoyed, but Martian Manhunter says he would have told them if he hadn't been captured so quickly. The heroes run to the basement to help hold off the invading villains from the multiverse. Barry tells them that if he closes this gate, they will be cut off from the multiverse forever. But Superman says they have no choice, as Barry shuts down the portal, causing the control panel to explode. In the control room, Waller rants like a crazy person that even if the heroes beat her, she still fooled the entire world with her fake footage, and the world's government will chase them off the planet. Because of what she did, she screamed, "I won!" Nightwing calmly says that was the villain rant he was counting on. and reveals that Airwave has been invisible within the room the whole time, broadcasting to every device on the planet and revealing her deception. 48 hours later, the Flashes meet up, and Jay and Wally confirm that their access to the multiverse has been cut off. Barry reveals that his powers are gone. Meanwhile, Waller wakes up in a prison cell. Dreamer, who's standing just outside, tells her that she has been sentenced to life in solitary confinement at Belle Reve for her crimes. Waller smugly predicts that she can easily bargain or blackmail her way out with the secret information she has on every hero in the world. But when Dreamer asks her where the Batcave is, Waller is unable to answer. Dreamer asks more rapid-fire questions about the world's heroes, and to her shock, Waller discovers she can't remember any of it. She accuses Dreamer of erasing her mind, but Dreamer reveals that she instead locked them away just below Waller's conscious mind, so she will always be just on the verge of remembering, but never able to do it. As Dreamer walks away, Waller defiantly says that she will find a way back, but Dreamer warns her not to strain her mind too much, implying she may have an implanted Suicide Squad bomb in her brain. While the Fortress of Solitude is being rebuilt, Green Arrow calls Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman to the League's original headquarters, saying they all made mistakes because they were going at it alone and they weren't a team anymore, that none of this would have happened if they'd been communicating with each other like they used to. He said the world needs a Justice League and suggests reforming it as a bigger and more proactive organization. They reveal that they're already working on that, with Batman showing him plans for a new Watchtower satellite. So, Absolute Power number 4. Let's get into it.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm glad you covered it. Whew.
That was a mouthful.
A lot. Where to start? Some trivial stuff, I suppose. Boy, they're built this whole thing about the Brainiac Queen and Amanda. When Ollie is listing off the things that have gone wrong, and then he mentions something negative about the Brainiac Queen, she slaps him. And this isn't the first time where she's very sensitive about the Brainiac Queen, because we know from, 35 issues ago or something, that Amanda, through a simulator, kind of like raised her. And so
it's like her kid.
It's like her kid.
And none of her other kids want anything to do with her, so.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, she's Mother of the Year when it comes to Brainiac Queen, which is, I think this isn't the last time, because Brainiac Queen's on Pluto right now, thanks to the Batman sending her there with the boom
really
tube.
Isn't that far, right?
That's not that far. Not for them. But and yeah, so I think we're going to see some Brainiac Queen Amanda team up sometime in the future, because they've left that open. I mean, some of the stuff was a little too convenient at times to wrap this all up the way they did. You got sort of a throwback to the 2000s and the 70s or the 80s, or with the mind wipe of Dr. Light, which became a big controversy for the Justice League later, with, Dreamer basically kind of mind wiping Amanda, at least on some, all the hero intel she's got on them. I want to know also, like, Dreamer says that she's been sentenced to life or something
in 48 hours.
Yeah. So by who? Superman?
Yeah. Who sentenced them that quickly?
I don't know, but I know I'm jumping around. There's finer points in this thing, because I don't want to sound negative, because it's really, the art is fantastic. The action and the dialogue between the characters is top notch. Very, Mark Waid did a great job. He might have been handed this story. I'm not sure if he actually crafted this whole storyboard kind of thing, but it's really got some great flow. There's little scenes where Wally and Jay Garrick are lending some of their will to Hal to hold that shield back, and I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but
There was a lot of things that happened in this book, and when I read it, it didn't seem as long as the others. Because
no, just kidding.
yeah, I don't know if things happened the way they happened. The one thing I want to touch on is the Green Arrow thing. That you knew I was gonna be outright angry if Green Arrow didn't really have a reason other than. But I liked this Martian Manhunter thing where he believed in her calls, and there wasn't anything they couldn't read his mind to see otherwise. What did you think of this Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter deception here?
I liked it, just like you did, because obviously it would have been a real bummer if Ollie's history of kind of questioning he's got his own history of questioning the Justice League's power, and so that was cool that they used Ollie as a vehicle for this and sort of made him kind of believably aligned with Amanda's motives. But the Martian Manhunter piece is cool because it made me think to a scene that we don't see, where it must have been around the time of the scene in the woods or something, that we don't get to see the scene where John Jones is telling him, look, this is how we're going to handle this. We don't see the scene, but now we know. But he said, you're the perfect vehicle, Ollie. You've got the right pedigree and history to be this vehicle, and nobody can know but us, not even Batman. And Batman gets a little pissy about it, which is a funny little scene between Martian Manhunter and Batman, where he's like, oh, you're telling me you've got secrets? Oh, okay, fine. But that he's got to, and this is probably, before Martian Manhunter will lose his power. So he's seeing what's going to happen, and he uses Ollie, and he puts this, basically timer. Now, the only downside to that is if you look at this issue, that timer goes off at just the right time. Did you notice that?
Yeah. How's that possible?
That would happen over the last whatever months. It all comes together just at the perfect time where Ollie realizes, oh, I don't buy this Waller baloney the whole time.
But do you even see where that happens? Do you see? He just disappears. That's all you see.
What do you mean? There's a scene where there's a little clock on the wall, which kind of shows it's like the timer went off. No, when Ollie, I don't know. Maybe it was in the previous issue, but there's a little scene with a timer on the wall. Oh yeah, this is where he says it. He says, until John Jones' telepathic implant timed out as planned, and it shows Wally looking at a wall that's got probably racks of computer equipment, and there's a little 12 o'clock thing, and it's like, okay, so it must, perfect timing.
It's like the exact, how was that planned to the exact minute? Really?
Yeah, and then there's another funny little wrap-up thing that they do, because in the previous issue that I just covered with you, that Oliver's working on something. He's tinkering with something, and they don't really show exactly what it is. It turns out to be this thing that he fires into the back of that Wonder Woman Amazo. But there's a scene with Ted Kord and Batman. It's funny, they even say, where is? Oh, right here. It says, we're in luck. Looks like someone's already been tinkering with one of my implants. Just a few adjustments. Like Green Arrow just happened to be, working on this thing. And then he leaves it there. And then Blue Beetle, Batman, and what's this guy's name? Time Commander?
Yes.
They happen to stumble upon it. Thank God they did, because that was the main thing that takes down the Amazos.
Yes.
Kind of funny. Oh, good luck here. So there's a lot of things that happen in this issue that had to happen like at that moment.
And it was Time Commander's, tinkering with whatever he did with this that, could throw them back into time.
He also says that he put this little fail-safe type thing, no pun intended, into the Amazos when they were created, but it doesn't but it makes it sound like he didn't have a plan to set it off later. I don't know. whatever.
Right.
fine. But anyway, man, I mean, and then at the end, we talked about it a little bit just in our offline about this thing, how it resolves itself.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that not all the powers went back to the right people. They got this scene that shows sort of an invisible plastic man, like or at least he's trans. And then you've got Black Canary with heat vision coming out of her eyes. I'm like, oh, why'd they do this? I mean, I'm having flashbacks of Lazarus Planet because of
yeah, I understand that.
Power Girl and stuff. Like, don't mess up with don't mess their powers up.
I don't
want to see a super speed, Tim Drake or something.
I don't know. That's just one of those things. It's like sort of like the magic wand wave.
Yeah,
but how did you like, what they used this airwave? What did you think they used him? Because they had him hanging around for some reason. I wonder if this was the plan the whole time to use him for this reason.
Your brain must be mush because you surmised that about three of our episodes ago. Because I was questioning this whole pep talk with Aquaman and Airwave on a cliff, and you're like, he's got to be part of the...
Yeah, he's got to be part of something. I mean, why is he even here? Because...
He's like, I mean, if there's A-list, B-list, C-list, he's got to be like F-list characters, and it was screaming.
Right.
It was screaming he's got a purpose in this thing, issues ago.
Yes.
But one thing I think is really there's two things towards the end. Well, actually, the fact that they shut down... Then they broke the Stargate thing or whatever to the multiverse. I guess a few speedsters got through and some others got through. The Superwoman didn't get through. The Donna Troy Superwoman didn't get through. So I guess we'll hopefully see her sometime in the future. But they made a big deal about bringing this army of multiversal villains through, and then they shut it down. And then now they went out of their way to emphasize in this that the bridge to the multiverse is now shut down. And I don't want to get into sort of the absolute stuff, but there's a reason why. Have you know what I'm talking about? Because you've already read that DC special.
Yeah, the all-in #1 special.
Yeah, that's important to that story because right now we're dealing with no bridge to other universes for a reason, which we'll cover probably soon. But I thought it was funny that Green Arrow's got this great idea, and he gives this big speech about how this whole set of circumstances and everything that just happened is because the Justice League didn't exist, and I'm here and I'm over here telling you guys that you guys got to put your differences aside and we got to get our act together. So we got to reform the Justice League. And then they're basically like, we're way ahead of you.
Yes.
We've been working on this like massive, satellite in concept for a while now, Oliver.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny actually.
Yes.
Cause he has this big speech. I thought that was pretty funny actually.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, we're a step ahead of you.
Yeah.
There's this one big panel in here, where they attack the front line, and they got a half a page panel here with all these different heroes, Nightwing leading the pack. And I like to see things like this because I like to see who they include.
Oh yeah.
Because they got like Bart Allen, you got Booster and Beetle, the Martian Manhunter. It looks like, I don't know who that is, has a yellow cape. Looks like a Flash almost.
Oh, the cape guy with the little, is that it? That's not Airwave, or is there a different one you're talking about?
No, he's to the left of Nightwing and like in Batman's legs, basically.
Yeah, but he's got these little pointy things.
I don't know. But you got Black Adam there.
You got Barda. You got the Titans.
Yeah, the Titans.
It's cool. Yeah, Black Adam's here for. A bandaged up John Kent.
Yeah, where's Power Girl there?
She's not here, but she does get her own panel later on.
Yeah, I did see that.
Where she has a one line in it. She says something like "Let's go" or something. Oh, this way, this way. It's a very strategic angle for Power Girl fans, looking down from the top. And then Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol's in this. You commented how you liked seeing the Doom Patrol in this. They must have. Is there a book? Is there a Doom Patrol book coming out?
Because there was a mini, but there isn't one that's actively out. So
because they're not normally like mega team types, so they're in here. And there's that one issue where they were 2 issues, I think, where they were featured pretty prominently. So, this is pretty cool. I mean, I haven't been reading Shazam. I know I need to read it because you say it's really great. Is Black Adam in that a lot? Because he's in here?
Not a lot. He was in one particular scene. It's quite different than it's sort of like Silver Agey, I do have to say, because it's kind of goofy and that sort of thing. But I enjoyed it. I don't know if everybody would enjoy it, but I haven't read the latest issue, the All-In issue. So that might be a really good jumping on point, but it does explain how you see, we saw Shazam in some of the issue. What was it? Task Force 7 in one of the issues. You saw his little dinosaur that was in, his little secret hideout or whatever. Explains what's going on there. And
yeah. I mean, a couple other observations regarding this powers thing. It looks like Barry has lost his powers. There's a panel where he says he's lost his powers, and then somebody else says, I think it must be Jay or Wally because they're in the room together. Mm-hmm. Says, not just yours, Barry. So I hear you're not alone. So that there's going to be others that don't have powers.
And it seems like they can only focus on one Flash at a time. That seems to be the new thing because we didn't even know where Barry was, or you never see Barry because they've been focusing on the other Flash, Wally. So
yeah. There was something else I wanted to point out about that, but maybe it'll come to. Dreamer. I mean, this series has made me want to read more back issues about Dreamer. Mm-hmm. Because I kind of like her character. Again, I wish they'd modify her costume so she doesn't get confused with Huntress, but I like her. She featured really prominently in this. I wonder if is she a Wade creation? Do you know much about Dreamer going back?
I don't know much about her at all. So,
and there's we're jumping all over, but there's an homage to the whole with Happy Harbor original Justice League headquarters. Yep. You got Red Tornado being kind of repaired or because of the events that happened here. So I mean, I guess that's a nod to the Copper Age sort of Justice League with Red Tornado and Happy Harbor. You think?
It's a good possibility.
Or Young Justice. But anyway, it was. So let's just wrap up the whole thing here. Do you like it a lot? Would you recommend this whole arc to somebody?
I would recommend these 4 issues. Mm-hmm. If somebody wanted to read these 4 issues together, I think it works really well. There's a lot of fun scenes. I don't know if I'd recommend somebody going back and reading everything because I don't know if it's 100% necessary. Now, there is a lot of stuff that is done, like the Green Lantern, Green Arrow books. They seem pretty essential in places. Some of the other books, maybe not so much. You get more of the Amazos taking personalities in the Task Force 7 book that you don't necessarily see that here, but that is something that you see in some of the side issues. But overall, I enjoyed this more than I have a crossover in a little while. Mm-hmm. So,
we've talked with praise about Green Lantern, Green Arrow. I really liked the Superman arc with the Dark Roads. I thought that was drawn well, and it was pretty important to the story. I think I could probably say to somebody, read these and you'll be fine. These ones,
right.
like the Wonder Woman stuff. God, that seemed like Tom King was forced to do it with a gun to his head or something, to be honest with you. I mean, but maybe some stuff will come out like we kind of get some stuff about, Carol Ferris wants to be a hero, and we know she's going to be a player in the future. We think so, at least. And then we got some of this Young Justice stuff, Justice Society type stuff with the. So I think there's a lot of stuff that they're laying the groundwork for this all-in era that we're upon already on the stands. And Nightwing, man, he really was pushed to the forefront big time in this.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. And Batman kind of lets him be his own guy. He doesn't step on his words ever. He doesn't. There's some cool stuff for Bat fans in that, to see what Nightwing sort of like be on par with Batman in the respect people have for him in the hero community, which is cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That was a lot of fun seeing that.
All right. So what do we got next?
So next coming up, we're gonna split off in two directions here. We're gonna go all in. So we're gonna have our Bat family of books, and then we've been discussing it. We're gonna do our DC episode once a month with some of the DC team books. And if there's ever an event, we're going to throw that in there. Or DC current episode.
Yeah.
But I think our next episode that's a DC current episode, we should talk about the all-in special with whatever, we got Justice League Unlimited coming, and then the Justice Society of America book coming. Mm-hmm. If you want to talk about Titans, we can do that.
Yeah.
It's whatever we want to do. And then we got the Batman books, and we'll see how many of those we'll do. And we're going all in because they're all jumping on point, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. We're about to go down the rabbit hole. Within 6 episodes, all of a sudden we won't be able to contain ourselves, and we'll just cover every single DC book that comes out.
It's possible.
No, but anyway. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was an ambitious task, and we did it. So looking forward to our next foray into all that stuff we just mentioned. It'll be fun.
Yeah, should be exciting. So we'll be back here before you know it. Until next time, same bet time, same bet channel. We will see you later.